Why am I still single? To be in an area where you are single but want to get married can be a stressful and anxious time. You want to get married, but you have not gotten anywhere close to achieving that goal. Sometimes you may wonder about whether it is something that you are doing wrong, whether you are good looking or desirable at all, or even if you are destined for marriage, despite not being anywhere close to it. You may be in your 20s or even as late as your 40s and 50s and still be single. In this video, I want to focus on reasons that are out of your control that you are single. It is important to note that there are valid reasons out of our control that you are still single. Of course, the majority of reasons can be within our control, but you might be affected by a reason that is out of your control at the present moment. These reasons apply when you have actively tried to find a partner and mitigated the reasons that are in your control. These factors are mainly held in God's hands, while a few can be held in the hands of others. So here are 5 reasons that are out of your control that you are still single. Number 1, it is not yet the right time. Timing is essential in everything. If you are not married, it simply may be because it is not yet the right time. God makes everything beautiful in His time. So if you are in God's hands, you are in good hands. Now God's timing is not our timing, much like how His thoughts are not our thoughts, His ways not our ways. We have to remember that we cannot speed up God's timing, nor can we make something accelerate faster so that it comes into our lives quicker. God's will and timing will prevail in every circumstance. We can pray as much as we want, but only God knows when the best time is. You might think that the best time to get married is now. However, God sees and knows things that you don't. He knows what lies ahead in the near future and the distant future. Maybe there is a great change coming in your life in terms of your career or family that will change your life completely. If you were married and the change happened, your relationship could be in jeopardy. So God would rather delay you in finding your spouse so that after the change happens, you'd be better positioned. Timing is everything, and do not think that you are losing out on time. God is the Lord of all time, and if your life is in His hands, your time is in His hands. And when you meet the partner that God has for you, it will be at the right time, even though you may feel that it isn't. Number 2, the circumstances are not yet right. For 2 people to meet, the circumstances must align. Both of you need to be single. Both of you need to be whole individuals who are available for a relationship. Both of you need to have the time, energy, and resources to facilitate a relationship. Ideally, both of you need to be in a similar life path, be in the same city or same location, and both of you need to have a similar life goal with shared interests. These are just a small number of circumstances that need to line up so that your relationship would be successful. You may think that it is easy to get these circumstances aligned, but it is not. You might even think that you have some of these circumstances in your control, but honestly, you don't. The rain falls on the just and the unjust, and as such, life happens to us all. Circumstances are always changing, and there is nothing you can really do to ensure that a circumstance never changes in your life. Only God can arrange the circumstances that are necessary. In a way, circumstances lining up perfectly for you to facilitate a relationship is a confirmation from God for you to proceed. So let God align the circumstances at the right time so that it becomes clear to you what you need to do. Trust God that if He has the circumstances in His hands, He will make it align at the right time. Number 3, your future spouse is not yet ready. This is a factor that most people don't consider. You are ready, but your spouse is not yet ready. You must remember that a relationship should consist of 2 whole and ready individuals. We only focus on ourselves, but we do not give thought on what is happening in our future spouse's life. Our future spouse may be older or younger than we are, and they may be facing their own set of circumstances. Our spouses may be struggling with mitigating the reasons of singleness that is in their control. Maybe they need to mature more mentally, emotionally, and spiritually before they meet you. Maybe they need to move to your city or job so that the circumstances are aligned. Maybe they need to break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend, or spend some time alone trying to find out who they are and become whole before meeting you. It is imperative that your spouse becomes a whole person before they meet you, because any deficits they may have, they will glean and take from you. If they need constant self-assurance, they will extract it from you when they should be getting it from God and themselves. This ends up placing you in a deficit and a toxic situation develops. For your spouse to be whole, they need to be spending time alone and with God, discovering their identity in Christ. You cannot do this for them. They have to do it themselves. Rest assured that God has His eye on your future spouse. You can pray for your spouse and for God to help them in their own life and process. Number 4, nobody is noticing you. You might be putting yourself out there. Maybe you've put yourself on dating sites because you've heard of the success that others have had. Maybe you've been going on blind dates, going out with friends hoping to meet someone. You try to improve your looks with a new haircut or maybe some great makeup or a cool outfit, but you can't seem to catch anyone's eyes. You get placed in situations where something can happen, yet nothing happens. Despite all the effort you do, it seems like no one is taking notice. Abnormal failure is something you must take a step back and look at. Of course, there is always the possibility that you may be approaching people in the wrong way. However, if you have been doing everything right and still nobody is noticing you, this abnormal failure must be examined. In most cases, it is God ensuring that you don't fall for the wrong person, or that the wrong person does not fall for you. God blinds their eyes from seeing and noticing you, saving you for a better person to come by. Only God can do this perfectly, which is why you may not be getting any attention from the opposite sex. God is preserving and protecting you from being led away by someone who will not be good for you. He may be protecting you to ensure that you get to the right person at the right time. And to do this, He makes you unnoticeable for an amount of time. So don't fight against God. Trust that He knows what He is doing. And number 5, rejection from others. Rejection is something that you can never control. You can never truly make another person accept you. They have to do it on their own. Another person has to accept you out of their own will and accord in order for it to be true acceptance. Men and women have experienced rejection in their own ways. We don't want to hear the answer no, especially coming from someone that we might be interested in. Sometimes it can be so painful because a no constitutes a rejection in you. It can make you feel worthless, and you may try to change yourself just to please the other person, but it still fails. Rejection is never an accident. God allows rejection to happen to redirect you into where you need to be. If the wrong person said yes to you, you would end up being in a terrible relationship that you would be praying for God to get you out of. To prevent all of that from even happening, God allows that person that you are interested in to reject you so that you do not get caught in a trap. God works all things together for our good because we love Him, so even the rejection is for our good. It may not feel like it in the moment, but sometimes being rejected is the best thing that could have happened to you, because from one rejection, God redirected you into finding something or someone better. The pain you are feeling now is nothing compared to the joy that is coming. So if you have been rejected by someone that you may have liked, it is not an accident. It is for your own good and for your benefit that they leave you. You will see, because when God gives you someone much better than you expected, you'll end up thanking Him for the rejection. This list is not exhaustive, but I pray that it gives you insight into the many factors that are at play. Factors that God has control of. In all these reasons, the main thing we need to do is just trust God and believe that He knows best for us. We can make our plans, but ultimately it is the Lord who directs our steps. Let us continue to walk in the light as He is in the light.